In this video, you are going to help decide the fate of Easy. My name is Douglas. I brought you cxc.world, the first map of music. I also brought you Easy. And before I made Easy with this website, cxc.world, I had this inspiration to take the cosmos and bring it into tokenomics. So I really believe that when we resonate with nature, we create systems that can keep growing. So today we have the opportunity to sync our easy economic system with the pattern that Venus makes as it goes through the sky. What does this all mean? What is this shape that's forming? Why are we talking about all this? So it's been our intention since the beginning to lock all the pools, meaning that I don't want the trust on me. I want everyone to know these pools are locked, like nothing's going to happen. But when we do that, we actually kind of shoot ourselves in the foot a bit. And it's something that I actually kind of gave up on solving until the time constraint was introduced. And I realized, oh, this is actually the perfect opportunity to sync up with the celestial orbits. So I'm going to talk in this video about how we could do buybacks every time that there's an alignment of the sun and Venus. So it's like Earth, Venus would be here, and then the sun. I hope you can see my mouse pointer. But what this solves is an inefficiency. If we look over here at the pools, what we're looking at is where this liquidity is distributed in one of the project pools. So there's 5 of these. They're like exactly the same, 4.2 million easy put in them on day 0. And then as people buy easy, it all flows into these pools. These pools have never been touched since the beginning of time, the beginning of easy time, that is. So what we experience when we do this system is that we have liquidity that gets stuck below the current price range. So as we go up, we're actually adding backing because we're doing buybacks. Also, the community is staking, the community is buying. So there is a lot of liquidity here. You could imagine an even distribution of $12,000, which is what's in this pool, between this price of 1 penny up to the current price around 1.63, 1.65. So if we look at this, 65% of all the liquidity is distributed across this 65%. So there's 1.2K if we go down to 1.5 something, right? Just in this pool. So you multiply that times 5. Now that's okay, but if we start to get further and further away, it starts to be like a lower percentage that's within a, let's say, significant dollar value move. So as easy becomes more popular and successful, what I see happening is we have millions of dollars down here that are kind of like just doing nothing. So how can we solve this, and what are the dangers of solving this? So one way to solve this, which is the dangerous way I'll present first, is if we pulled all 5 liquidity pools and then we did all the buybacks at one time. And what this would do is it would end up with the same amount of dollar stablecoins in the pools as before, but now this red line moves up. So the red line would move here, and then as we do the buybacks, this white price line would move a little bit to the right in this side, meaning the price would increase. If we did it all at once, what that's creating is then all of this 12,000 instead of only 1,200 between the like 0.065 movement between like 1 point, let's say 58 to 1.65, that all of it, all 12,000 could be in that range or shorter. So it creates almost an incentive for the long-term holders to kind of cash out quick. And whenever there's that buyback, that's the risk, is if too many people were to cash out, then it would crash the price and it would go below that line. So that was originally in the Telegram message, like kind of the first iteration of this idea. I kind of had these ideas as I was writing this message because I was like, oh, well, we could lock them for a while and then do a buyback. And then I was like, oh, it makes more sense to just do one buyback at a time. So that's the solution to this danger that I was talking about. And then as I was writing, I'm like, okay, we need, actually I thought of it before up here, like we need some astrologically significant way to do this. So back to the problem that we're trying to solve, we want to have this inefficiency, but we want to remove it, but we can't just do a full buyback because it's too risky for the price to collapse. So what we can do, because there's 5 of these pools, we can go ahead and do this lock, and we can lock until specific dates that are listed right here. So that this would mean the first buyback would actually be this year, which would be really exciting, especially as we're talking about launching a blockchain. Something like that could be a big like narrative and hype move. So if we do it like this, what we're doing is we're essentially scheduling these unlocks. They're on the alignments of when the Venus and the sun aligns. So great for the narrative, great for how we talk about this. We're aligning love to the earth through easy, through loving our lives. And each time we'll pull one of these pools. So we'll still go ahead and lock these until that date. And then on that date, we have like, a public announcement of all this ahead of time. And everybody knows 20% of the liquidity is then going to be used for buyback and restaked. And there's still the 80% at that longer backing range. And that's very important because the danger before was if everybody dumped, like if we move the line, everybody dumped, it could take it down. But if it's staggered like every 1.6 years, I think it's like little to no chance of that happening. And even if everybody dumped, it still wouldn't crash the price. It's impossible to, it would still likely be impossible to crash it below the price, even if like literally every single person dumped. And the reason for that is because we've had additional buybacks putting in money into these pools. So even though there's now a higher price cash out, it shouldn't crash the price in the worst case scenario. And in the worst realistic case scenario, definitely not at all. And then actually the worst case scenario of people kind of dumping is really a good thing, because even if we go below that one level in one pool, which would lead to less resistance. So what I'm saying is we now squished up the resistance. And if we break through that, we still have those other 4 pools holding it up. And then as time goes on, it becomes staggered. So we have other sort of bands of liquidity kind of ratcheting up each way while we're still not losing these other trailing bags of liquidity. So I love this solution. I haven't thought of anything better, and I'm super excited about it, but also it's a very new idea. So I want your eyes on it. I want your thoughts. And like, this has to be a community thing. So you're with us, and we're going along and we're going together. And I hope that, it's my ethical duty to sell this to you because I think this is a great idea. So I'm happy to handle all your objections, listen to all your concerns, see if you think there's anything blocking this strategy from going out. And yeah, I'd love to rally community behind this. Let me know what you think in the Telegram chat. We have this message here you can read up on. And then also you can take a look at the previous message where we kind of talk about this whole thing. And yeah, so we'll have another poll once we get a little bit more feedback and push it through. Super stoked to be here. Thank you for living the easy life.